على آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الحج هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها فكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. عباد Allah, indeed our Lord Tabarak wa Ta'ala has mentioned inside of his noble book, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba alaykum alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Allah Ta'ala is mentioned inside of his noble book that all you who believe, indeed fasting has been written upon you, meaning it has been prescribed upon you, made obligatory upon you, just as it was made obligatory upon those who came before you, so that you can acquire by way of that the taqwa of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So the fast that is like this, ibad Allah, the fast that will bring about the acquisition of the taqwa of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, it is a fast that is done properly in accordance with Kitab and Sunnah. It is a fast that is free of errors and those things that would make it deficient. And in order for us to attain that, it is a must that we proceed upon ilm, upon knowledge. So we will speak bi'idhnillahi ta'ala regarding some of the ahkam and the rulings that are necessary for the fasting person to know. And amongst those rulings, ibad Allah, that it is binding upon a fasting person to know is what is connected to bidayat as-sawm al-yawmi wa nihayatuhu, what is connected to the beginning and the end of the fasting day. Allah Ta'ala is mentioning inside of his book, in that verse where he demarcated for the believer the beginning of his fasting day and its end. أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ لَيْلَةُ الصِّيَامِ الرَّفَثُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. It has been made permissible for you on the night of fasting to be intimate with your wives. هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنْ. They are a libas, a clothing and a garment for you, just as you are a garment or clothing for them. عَلِمَ اللَّهُ أَنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَخْتَانُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَعَفَا عَنْكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala knows that you used to deceive yourselves. You would trick yourselves. So Allah Ta'ala, He has accepted your tawbah and pardoned you. فَالْآنَ بَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. And now it is permissible for you to be intimate with your wives, meaning at the night time in the month of Ramadan, and seek what Allah Ta'ala has written for you of children. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. He said, and eat and drink until the white thread becomes distinct to you from the black thread of Fajr. ثُمَّ أَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. And they complete your fast from that time up until nightfall. So in this verse, ibad Allah, Allah has demarcated and set for us the beginning of our fasting day by way of his statement, eat and drink until, as an indication that this is the beginning point of the fasting day. And then he said thereafter, وَأَتِمُّوا صِيَامَكُمْ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. And complete your fast all the way up until nighttime, and that therefore is the end of the fasting day when the sun sets at Maghrib. Likewise, ibad Allah, we must know what is connected to a niyyah, or the intention of the fasting person. And the niyyah is a condition for the validity of the fast, just as it is a condition for the acceptance and the validity of all good deeds that we may do. Due to what has come on the authority of the Amir al-Mu'mineen, Umar bin al-Khattab, radiyallahu anhu, that he said, Sami'tu Rasulullah, I heard the Messenger of Allah, alayhi salam, say, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Actions are but by the intentions behind them. وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ إِمْرٍ مَّا نَوَىٰ. And everyone shall be rewarded in proportion to what he or she has intended. So, ibad Allah, it is a must that we have an intention set at the night time before the fast begins. Due to what is come from Amr that she reported from Aisha that the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam said, "Man lam yabit as-siyam qabla tulul al-fajr fala siyam lahu." Whoever does not have the night, or he did not spend the night with the intention of fasting before Fajr comes, has no fast. And the niyyah ibadallah, the place of it in all of our acts of worship is the heart. And it's not permissible to articulate the niyyah upon the tongue, for this is a bid'ah. It has not been narrated from the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam, nor from any of his companions thereafter. Likewise, ibadallah, we must know upon whom is fasting obligatory. So fasting is obligatory first and foremost upon the baligh, the one who is mature, the one who has attained puberty. As it relates to the child who is at the age of discernment, he knows right from wrong, but he has not yet reached puberty, fasting is not yet obligatory upon them. However, it is correct, it is acceptable from them as an optional fast. And we want to draw attention to something here, ibadallah, as some of the parents do. Some of the parents, they say that they're trying to get their child used to fasting, so therefore they will have the child fast a half of a day. We say this is not correct, barakallahu fikum. If your child is going to fast, a fast is not obligatory upon him or her. They don't have to fast every day. They don't have to fast every day in the month of Ramadan. They are not obliged to fast every day in the month of Ramadan. However, if they are going to fast on a given day, they should fast for the entirety of that day. They should fast for the entirety of that day. And then, if they, as the Salaf would do, if the child begins crying and moaning and groaning about hunger pains, then what do? As the Salaf would do, they would give their child something to play with to distract them, to keep them focused so that they can finish out the fasting day. However, it's not obligatory upon them to fast every day. So perhaps you have your child fast one day and not fast the next day. You have him fast 3 days and have him miss 4 days. And the likes of this, for they do not have to fast every day of the month of Ramadan if they have not yet reached the age of puberty. Likewise, ibadallah, fasting is obligatory in the month of Ramadan upon the aqil, upon the one who has sound intellect. Upon the one who has sound intellect. As for the one who is majnoon, as for the one who does not have their senses, then fasting is not obligatory upon them until they regain their senses. And also the basic foundation regarding this is the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رفع القلم عن ثلاث. He said that the pen has been lifted from 3. The pen has been lifted from 3. And the sagiri وعن النائم حتى يستيقظ. It has been lifted from the small child who has not yet reached puberty, and likewise the sleeping person until he wakes up. وعن المجنون حتى يفيق. And it has been lifted from the majnoon until he regains his or her senses. So therefore, ibadallah, fasting is binding and obligatory upon every Muslim who is baligh, he is mature or she is mature, they have reached the age of puberty. If they are sahih, if they are healthy enough to fast, if they are muqim, if they are a resident, they are not a traveler. It is obligatory upon people who are like this, ada'an. They must perform the fast in the month of Ramadan with everyone else fasting in the month of Ramadan. But if a person is sick, with a sickness that he or she hopes to recover from, even if they're going to recover from it a long time away, as long as there is hope for them to recover from the illness, then it is obligatory upon them to fast qada'an, meaning they make the days up when they are capable of fasting. Similarly, the traveling person who breaks their fast due to travel, as well as the menstruating woman or the woman suffering from postnatal bleeding. They must make the fast up outside of the month of Ramadan. Likewise, ibadallah, we must know the mufsidat as-siyam. We must know those things that break the fast. And we're speaking about the muftirat al-hissiyah, those things that actually break the fast. There are a number of affairs. From them, first and foremost, al-jima' is sexual relations. If a person is intimate with their wife or their husband willfully in the daytime in the month of Ramadan, it is binding upon such a person to do a kafara. They must do an expiation in addition to tawbah, and likewise making the day up. Due to what has come from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, that a Bedouin came to the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam, and he said, halaktu wa halaktu. He said, O Messenger of Allah, I've destroyed myself and I caused destruction upon someone else, meaning his spouse. وقال, the Messenger of Allah said alayhi salam, and what has caused your destruction? قال وقعت على امرأتي في رمضان. He said, I've been intimate with my wife during the daytime in Ramadan. And so he said, هل تجد مَا تَعْتِقْ بِهِ رَقَبَةً. Do you have that with which you are able to free a slave? قَالَ لَا. The man, he said, no. He said, فَهَلْ تَسْتَطِيعُ أَن تَصُومَ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ. He said, then are you capable? You have the physical ability to fast for 2 consecutive months? قَالَ لَا. The man said, no. He said, فَهَلْ تَجِدْ مَا تُطْعِمْ 60 مِسْكِينًا. Then do you have that with which you are able to feed 64 people? قَالَ لَا. The man, he said, no. ثُمَّ جَلَسَ. Then he sat down. And so a basket of dates was brought to the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam, and he called the man back and he said, take this and spend it in sadaqah. Give it in sadaqah, meaning feed the poor by way of that. But the man said, A'ala afqar minna. He said, shall I find someone who's more poor than us? He said, for by Allah, in whose hands is my soul, there's none between the 2 lava pits of Al-Madinah, a family that's more poor and in need of this wealth than us. وضحك النبي عليه السلام. So the Prophet laughed عليه السلام until his molar teeth showed. And he said, اذهب فأطعمه أهلك. He said, then take it and go and feed your family with it. Likewise, ibad Allah, amongst those things that break and nullify the fast is that of eating and drinking intentionally. The person who eats or drinks intentionally have broken their fast. Due to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, in which he said, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. Eat and drink until the white thread becomes distinct to you from the black thread of Fajr. As for the one who eats or drinks forgetfully, فَلَا يَضُرْ. It does not harm the person, provided that they stop eating and drinking immediately as soon as they realize it, and they complete their fast. Due to what has come from Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that he said, the Prophet alayhi salam, he said, مَنْ نَسِيَ وَهُوَ صَائِمٌ فَأَكَلَ أَوْ شَرَبَ فَلْيَتِمْ صَوْمَهُ فَإِنَّمَا أَطْعَمَهُ اللَّهُ وَسَقَاهُ. That he said that whoever forgets while he's fasting and eats or drinks, let him complete his fast, for it is none other than Allah that gave him food and gave him something to drink. Likewise, ibad Allah, amongst the things that break and nullify the fast is that of at-taqayyu'. If an individual vomits intentionally, if a person makes himself or forces himself to vomit, he or she has broken their fast by way of that. Due to what has come from Abu Huraira, the Prophet alayhi salam, he said, مَنْ ضَرَأَهُ الْقَيْءُ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ قَضَاءٌ. That whoever vomit overcomes him, whoever, he does not force himself, but he gets sick and he throws up, so there's nothing due upon the individual from making up that day. وَمَنْ اسْتَقَاءَ عَمْدًا فَلْيَقْضِي. But whoever makes himself vomit intentionally, let him make that day up. Likewise, ibad Allah, is coming upon us to look at the state and condition of our Salaf as-Salih and how they were in preparation for the month of Ramadan, and how they would rejoice at the nearness and the approach of the month of Ramadan, and they would prepare to meet the month. But it's come from Mu'alla ibn Fadl that he would say, كانوا يدعون الله 16 and يبلغهم Ramadan. The Salaf was such that they would make dua to Allah for 6 months prior to the month of Ramadan. They allowed them to reach it. Another chance for us to get it right. We've been messing up all year. So we look forward to this chance to join into Allah Ta'ala. Another chance to get it right. Another chance to purify our souls. Another chance to acquire the taqwa of Allah Ta'ala. They would make dua for 6 months ahead of the month of Ramadan, that Allah allows them to reach this month. ثُمَّ يَدْعُونَهُ 16 أَن يَتَقَبَّلْهُ مِنْهُمْ. And thereafter, once they reach the month, they would make dua for another 6 months. Thereafter, that Allah accepts what they did in the month of Ramadan. Ibn Rajabi said, Bulugh Shahr Ramadan, the approach of the month of Ramadan and its fasting, ni'matun azima, it is a tremendous blessing. The approach of the month of Ramadan and fasting inside of it is a ni'matun azima, a tremendous blessing. Ala man aqdarahu Allahu alayhi, for the one that Allah Ta'ala allows and gives tawfiq to encounter it. We are dulu alayhi hadith al-thalatha, and what proves this is the hadith of those 3 individuals. 2 of them were martyred and died on the battlefield. ثُمَّ مَاتَ الثَّالِث, and the 3rd individual, he died on his bed sometime thereafter. So this 3rd individual who was seen in a dream entering paradise before the 2 of them. He was seen in a dream entering paradise before those 2 martyrs. And so the Messenger of Allah said, alayhi salam, when he was asked about this, alaysa salah ba'dahuma kada wa kada salatan. Is it not the case that he lived after them, therefore he prayed whatever he prayed of salawat that they didn't get the chance to pray? وَأَدْرَكَ Ramadan فَصَامَهُ. And he caught the month of Ramadan and fasted it, whereas though they missed it. But وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ, for by he in whose hands is my soul, إِنَّ بَيْنَهُمَا لَأَبْعَدْ مِمَّا بَيْنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. For by he in whose hands is my soul, there is a distance between him and them like what is between the heavens and the earth. May Allah allow us to reach the month of Ramadan. أقول ما سمعتم واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا وإمامنا محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وبعد, we must know as well, Ibad Allah, what is referred to as al-muftirat al-ma'nawiyya, those figurative nullifiers of the fast, those things that don't necessarily in and of themselves break or nullify the fast, but they will diminish the reward of your fast. And perhaps they can reach a point wherein they cause your fast and its reward to be non-existent. Due to this, the Salaf, they will say, أحوال الصيام ترك الطعام والشراب. The lightest part of the fast, the most insignificant portion of your fast, is leaving off the food and the drink. It's the easiest part of it. There are other things that come along with it, ibad Allah, that you must be mindful of. It has come from Abu Hurairah, radiallahu anhu, that he said, the Messenger of Allah, alayhi salam, he said, من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة إلى أو في أن يدع طعامه وشرابه. Whoever does not leave off qawl az-zur, and zur is every false statement. Every false statement, whoever does not leave that off and acting upon such falsehood, Allah is not in need of you leaving your food and your drink. If you don't stop backbiting in the month of Ramadan, when are you going to stop? You don't stop tale carrying, gossiping in the month of Ramadan, when are you going to stop? Whoever does not leave that off, Allah is not in need of you leaving your food and your drink. For your food and drink, ibad Allah, these things are permissible in certain times, but impermissible at other times. They're permissible when you're not fasting. You can eat, you can drink, you can be intimate with your family when you're not fasting. So they're permissible at some times, but impermissible at other times due to something that makes them impermissible, like the fast. However, these things, these sins, disobedience, backbiting the people, tale carrying upon the people, slandering the people, it is haram at every time. It is haram at every time, when you're fasting or when you're not fasting. So if you will not leave that which is haram at every time, Allah Ta'ala is not in need of you leaving that which is only haram at certain times. So it is going to come upon the fasting person that he avoid these affairs. He avoids backbiting and tale carrying and cursing and argumentation and fighting and quarreling due to what has come from the two sheikhs, min al-Bukhari and Muslim, on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that he said, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمْ صَوْمْ أَحَدَكُمْ, if it is the day of fasting of one of you, فَلَا يَرْفَثْ, let him not behave insolently, وَلَا يَجْهَلْ, let him not behave ignorantly, don't get ignorant. And if someone were to try to fight him and quarrel with him, let him say, إِنِّي صَائِمٌ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ, indeed I am fasting, indeed I am fasting. Ulama, they say, the first instance of you saying this is a reminder to yourself, indeed I am fasting, so therefore I'm not going to respond to this foolish person. I'm not going to get into an argument with him. I'm not going to fight and quarrel with him, because why? Because I am fasting. You're reminding yourself. And the second statement is to the person who's trying to quarrel and fight with you. I'm fasting, therefore you should be fasting as well. You should be fasting as well. And there's even come, ibad Allah, some texts that indicate regarding the affair of backbiting and the likes of these sins, that they can reach a point wherein they actually remove your reward for your fast altogether and perhaps nullify it altogether. Due to what has come on the authority of Sa'ad, that he said there were two women who were fasting during the time of the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam. وَقَدْ كَانَتَا أَن تَمُوتَا مِنَ الْعَطْشِ, they were on the verge of dying out of thirst. And so it was said to the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam, Ya Nabi Allah, O Prophet of Allah, they have died. Or the narrator said, they are about to die, so command them to break their fast. The Prophet alayhi salam, he called them to himself. So they were brought forth. And then he had a wooden bowl, a large wooden bowl brought, and placed in front of one of the two women. And he said to her, vomit, throw up. And so she began gagging as though she had to throw up. And when she vomited, she vomited and threw up blood and pus and flesh until she filled half that bowl. And the bowl was pushed in front of the second woman. And the same was said to her. And she vomited, and she began to throw up blood and pus and flesh until she filled the entirety of that bowl. So the Prophet ﷺ said, إن هاتين صامتا عما أحل الله لهما وافطرتا على ما حرم الله عليهما. He said these two women, they spent their day fasting from those things that Allah made lawful for them. Food and drink, these things are lawful and permissible. But they fasted from that thing, from those things that are permissible. But he said, but they broke their fast upon those things that Allah made impermissible. He said, as for one of them, one of them would sit with the other, and they would begin backbiting the people, eating their flesh. The Allama, the Mufti of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Saleh Fawzan, he mentioned, Hafidhahullah, was sir as-sawm. He said the secret behind fasting. The secret behind fasting and the objective of it, kasr al-nafs al-hawa, is to break the soul. It's to break the soul from following desires. وَالْقُوَّةَ عَلَى تَحَفُّظْ مِنْ الشَّيْطَانِ وَأَعْوَانِهِ, and strengthening the soul so it can be protected from shaitan and his helpers. Some of the ulama, they said, يَنْبَغِي لَهُ, it is probable for the fasting person and يَصُومْ بِجَمِيعِ جَوَارِحِهِ, that he fasts with the entirety of his body. All of your body got to fast, not just your belly. Not just your belly. He said that he fasts with all of his body. He said with his hands, with his eyes, with his tongue, and with his heart. فَلَا يَغْتَبْ, so he does not backbite anyone. وَلَا يَشْتَمْ, he does not curse anyone out. وَلَا يُخَاصِمْ, he does not argue with the people. وَلَا يَغْتَبْ, he does not lie. وَلَا يُضَيِّعْ زَمَانَهُ, he does not waste his time with poetry and singing and song and the likes of this. Nor with comedy and stories and the likes. Nor praising some people, meaning without do right. Nor criticizing some people, meaning without do right. And he does not stretch forth his hand towards any falsehood, nor does he walk with his foot towards any falsehood. This is the reality of the Siyam, ibad Allah. May Allah Ta'ala allow us to actualize this. May Allah Azza wa Jal accept from us our standing at night and our prayer and our fasting in the month of Ramadan. May Allah accept from us our good deeds. May He grant us tawfiq. Allah knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وخير دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وقوموا لصلاتكم.
Thank you.